Imagine stepping out of your kitchen, not into a forgotten, cluttered alleyway, but into a secret, open-air dining room. A sliver of space, once a home for dusty bins and lost shadows, can become the most intimate corner of your entire home. Today, we are going to explore how to transform that narrow side passage into a meditative al fresco nook, crafted entirely from the quiet luxury of natural materials. This isn't just a design project. It's a reclamation of lost square footage for your soul. We will be weaving together the wisdom of an architect and the storytelling of a seasoned observer, peeling back the layers of potential in these overlooked corridors. I want you to see the rough brickwork not as a boundary, but as a textured gallery wall waiting for dappled light, and the long, linear floor as a procession towards a moment of calm. Before we lay a single stone, we need to shift our perspective. Forget the grand patio extension. The magic of a side passage lies in its constraints. The narrowness forces intimacy. The high walls create a natural shelter, and the linear path becomes a journey. The goal isn't to fight these characteristics, but to amplify them, curating an experience where every material feels deliberately chosen to age gracefully with the weather and your touch. Segment 1. Assessing the forgotten threshold. The first act of our transformation is a quiet one: observation. You must live with the space for a few days, noticing its secret rhythms. Chart the arc of the sun. A west-facing passage will bathe your evening dinners in a honeyed horizontal light, while an east-facing one offers a cool, gentle start to the day. This solar path will be your compass, dictating whether you'll need a canopy for soft shade or a mirror to amplify a fleeting beam. Next, become a student of the microclimate. Narrow passages between buildings often become once perceived as a noisy echo chamber might, perfectly still small water feature and a screen of rustling bamboo. Run your hand along the wall after rain. Cocoon of Does the brick hold dampness, insulating you from listen to the sounds. The ground beneath you holds immense potential. Usually, these spaces are paved with harsh concrete, a purely utilitarian afterthought. This is an opportunity for a profound sensory upgrade. We'll be replacing that cold, inert surface with materials that invite bare feet and visually anchor the Nook. Think of this initial assessment not as a checklist of problems, but as a quiet dialogue with the site, understanding its character before we introduce our natural palette to complement, not conquer, it. Segment 2. The Soul of a Meditative Nook. A true meditative dining space doesn't demand silence. It invites stillness. The design must encourage you to decelerate the moment you step across its threshold. We achieve this not with grand gestures, but through a meticulous attention to sensory cues. The rhythm of a cobblestone path naturally slows your gait. The cool touch of a raw stone table anchors your hands, and the scent of jasmine on a twilight breeze signals to your nervous system that it is time to exhale. The philosophy here is deeply rooted in the Japanese concept of yohaku no bai, the beauty of empty space. In a narrow passage, the temptation is to fill every inch, but the true luxury is restraint. A single, beautifully weathered wooden bench against a lime-washed wall can be far more powerful than a cluster of complicated furniture. This negative space allows the mind to wander, making the small dining setting at the end feel like a profound earned destination rather than a cramped afterthought. Material honesty becomes a form of visual meditation. When every surface around you, the grain of a reclaimed oak table, the pitted texture of a handmade terracotta pot, the soft ripple of a linen cushion, reveals its natural origin, there's a deep subconscious grounding that occurs. There's no plastic to glare under the sun, no synthetic veneer peeling away from reality. The space becomes a living, breathing organism that ages and patines, deepening in beauty and soul with every shared meal. Segment 3. The Natural Material Palette. Let's curate our palette like an artist choosing pigments from the earth itself. The aim is to blur the line between the built environment and a natural landscape. We begin with a foundation of lime-based plasters and washes for the walls. Unlike modern acrylic paints that create a sealed, plastic-like film, lime wash breathes. It absorbs and releases moisture, and its microcrystalline finish captures light with a depth that feels almost liquid, shifting in tone from soft cream at noon to a glowing amber at dusk. For elements of weight and permanence, we turn to stone and raw timber. Think of a dining table made from a single thick slab of bluestone or honed granite, its edges left naturally rough, seated on a chunky, reclaimed teak base. This isn't a piece of outdoor furniture. It's a geological anchor. The stone absorbs the day's warmth and releases it slowly into the evening, creating a microzone of comfort that invites you to linger, your fingers tracing the cool, fossil-flecked surface long after the plates are cleared. To soften the verticality, we introduce the warmth of wood and the whisper of textiles. Instead of stained, high-gloss decking, choose thermally modified ash or untreated cedar, which weathers to a silvery patina like driftwood. For the seating, imagine deep cushions covered in undyed, heavyweight linen or hemp canvas in shades of stone and sand. These fabrics are not just soft. They are tactile, absorbing sunlight and air, moving gently in a breeze and drying quickly after a summer shower, embodying an elegant, rustic durability. Segment 4, Grounding the Experience Floors and Paths. The floor in a narrow space isn't just a surface. It's the narrative spine of the journey. Start by breaking the linear monotony. Instead of running pavers in a straight, tedious line, consider a slightly winding path of irregular York stone set into a sea of creeping thyme or soft emerald moss. The act of navigating these natural stepping stones forces a mindful pace, drawing your gaze downward to the beautiful miniature landscape blooming between the cracks. For a more refined, yet equally sensory approach, think of a deck crafted as a floating platform. Using widely spaced, chunky reclaimed railway sleepers slightly elevated above a bed of polished river pebbles creates a profound sense of lift. You're no longer in a leftover alleyway. You're on a wooden raft, the dark. Smooth stones beneath providing both acoustic softness and a visual void that makes the timber feel warm and buoyant. An invitation to slip off your shoes and feel the sun-bleached grain underfoot. Don't underestimate the power of a simple gravel ground cover. A fine, self-binding gravel, like decomposed granite, when rolled to a smooth, firm finish, creates a surface that crunches softly underfoot. It's a distinctly calming, nostalgic sound, a gentle announcement of movement that's far more pleasing than the hard click of heels on concrete. Pair this with a single long runner of textured seagrass or jute, unrolled just for the dining setup, and you have layered a transient, tactile softness over a permanent mineral base. Segment 5. Vertical canvases walls that embrace. The walls of a side passage are not mere barriers. They are your closest, most influential design surfaces. Instead of fighting their closeness, clothe them in a living, textured skin. A vertical garden of lush, shade-loving ferns and soft, pendulous mosses transforms a damp brick wall into a verdant tapestry. The moisture they naturally release will cool the air in summer, while the deep, varied greens absorb and soften sound, creating a serene forest floor acoustic for your intimate dinners. For a deeply architectural and meditative intervention, consider a screen of vertical oak slats. Mount these slightly off the existing wall and light them from below at night. The resulting rhythm of shadow and warm wood creates a powerful sense of layered depth and privacy without feeling claustrophobic. You can train a single sculptural espaliered pear or fig tree along it, its bare winter branches creating stark, beautiful calligraphy against the timber, and its broad summer leaves offering a dappled canopy. The material of the wall itself can become the art. A hand-troweled clay plaster, finished with a soft, suede-like texture, invites you to touch it. It's an unexpectedly sensual experience in an outdoor setting. This earthy finish acts like a canvas for shadows, catching the intricate silhouettes of nearby grasses or a delicate chair frame as the sun moves. It transforms the passage from a hard architectural leftover into a soft, earthen embrace, radiating a gentle, grounding energy throughout the entire dining nook. Segment 6. A ceiling of light and leaves. In a narrow passage, a solid roof can feel oppressive, yet complete exposure lacks intimacy. The solution is a permeable ceiling, one that filters light and creates a sense of enclosure while still revealing the sky. A simple, elegant structure of raw, untreated cedar beams with climbing vines like wisteria or a vigorous grapevine woven between them creates a living canopy. In spring, it offers a cascade of scent and blossom. In autumn, a harvest of fruit hanging overhead. For a more contemporary fabric-soft approach, install a retractable canvas awning in a natural ecru or oatmeal tone. When extended, the canvas acts as a massive light diffuser, casting a soft, shadowless glow over your dining table, almost like a giant photographer's softbox. It cocoons the space, transforming it into a luminous, tent-like sanctuary on a bright day while it's soft. Organic texture contrasts beautifully with the solid stone and timber around it, adding a layer of nautical, nomadic charm. Another magical technique is to suspend a series of hand-woven jute or bamboo shade panels just above head height. These are not fixed. They can be shifted to respond to the angle of the sun. The dappled light they cast creates a moving, ever-changing dapple on the tabletop and floor, a living sundial that marks the passing of a long, lazy lunch. The slight scent of the natural fibers warming in the sun adds yet another invisible layer to the sensory feast you are creating. Segment 7. Lighting the Twilight Magic. As the sun fades, the lighting dictates the emotional tenor of your al fresco nook. Reject harsh white-blue LED spotlights. They annihilate atmosphere. We are curating pools of warm, golden glow. Recess tiny, warm, dim LED microspots into the gravel path itself, creating a constellation of earthbound stars that guide the eye and foot gently toward the dining table, allowing the table itself to float in a sea of soft light. For the table centerpiece, think beyond candles. A single, large, hand-thrown terracotta lantern with a thick beeswax pillar inside creates a golden, flickering focal point. Place it on a small, natural stone plinth in the middle of the table. The clay warms up from the flame, glowing from within, and the scent of pure beeswax subtly sweetens the night air, an ancient and grounding aroma that connects the experience to a pre-modern tradition of dining by firelight. The vertical plane can become a constellation as well. Artisan-made brass or hand-blown glass pendants, hung at varied heights from a single, thick jute rope above the table, create a suspended sculpture of light. Keep the bulbs dimmable and the wattage low. The goal is a soft, intimate lunar glow that illuminates faces beautifully without attracting insects. On the textured lime wash wall behind, this low-level light will magnify every hand-troweled ripple and shadow, turning the wall into a deep sculptural piece of art that anchors the entire scene. Segment 8. The dining composition furnishings as anchors. Furniture in a narrow nook must be as much a part of the architecture as the walls. Avoid anything bulky. A bespoke, wall-mounted stone shelf on a single cantilevered corbel becomes a magical dining counter for two. Seated on simple, backless polished wood stools, you and a companion face the verdant wall or the glowing passage, the meal laid out like an altar. This setup minimizes visual clutter, making the 700 millimeters wide passage feel like a generous, dedicated ceremonial space. If a more classic table is desired, choose a piece with a profound sense of weight and history. A single slab of reclaimed elm with a live edge set upon a pair of ancient wine barrel ends tells a story. The rich, dark wood, polished smooth by generations, contrasts with the fresh, green life surrounding it. Pair this with folding director's chairs in oiled beechwood and natural canvas, pieces that are honest, functional, and can be hung on the wall as sculptural objects when the Nook transforms back into a meditative walkway. Integrate storage as a design feature, not an afterthought. A long, low bench built from a single sleeper of dark, oiled mahogany can store weatherproof linen cushions inside. Its top surface acts as a stage for a collection of succulents in textured subo pots, or simply as an extra seat. By designing the furniture to be multifunctional and deeply rooted in natural materials, you ensure the space never feels cluttered with outdoor stuff, maintaining its cloistered, intentional soul even when not being actively used for dining. Segment 9, The Whisper of Water. Introducing water into a confined space amplifies its meditative quality tenfold, but the scale must be intimate. Forget a large fountain. Think of a minimalist hand-carved stone basin, known as a tsukubai in Japanese garden tradition. A single slow drip of water from a simple bamboo spout into this stone bowl creates a resonant, intermittent chime, a sound that punctuates the silence without dominating it, drawing your attention gently to the present moment. For a more linear expression, a narrow rill of water can run along the base of one wall, lined in smooth, dark river stones and barely a hand's width across. This miniature stream is a visual anchor. It can simply recirculate water that flows into a hidden reservoir bed of pebbles, creating a shimmering, reflective line that catches the light from the lanterns above and brings a dynamic, living sparkle to the floor plane without the complexity of a pond. Even the simplest intervention can be profound. A large, shallow, hand-hammered copper bowl filled with water and a few floating frangipani or camellia blossoms becomes a silent, reflective void on the dining table. Its surface mirrors the candlelight and the shifting sky above, a constantly changing still life painting. The heavy, silent presence of water in such a simple, handcrafted vessel adds an unspeakable depth of calm, completing the sensory cocoon of your natural al fresco sanctuary. Segment 10, The Art of Negative Space and Ritual Objects. In a narrow space, what you leave out is more important than what you put in. Dedicate one end of the passage to pure emptiness, a quiet white-lined wall with nothing but a single sculptural branch resting on a plain wooden plinth. This void acts as a visual palette cleanser after the rich textures of the dining area, creating a silent spiritual punctuation mark that balances the composition and prevents the space from feeling like a decorated hallway. Introduce objects of ritual that are left in place, weathering the seasons with grace. An old terracotta pot, its surface colonized by a beautiful patina of lichen and moss, can be left empty in a corner, not as a planter, but as a sculptural artifact. A collection of smooth, blackened river stones, stacked in a simple cairn on a wooden ledge, serves as a physical reminder of the geology beyond the city, a tiny human-made monument to stillness. These are not decorations, they are anchors for the mind. A deep, weathered wooden tray left permanently on the dining table, holding a single ceramic beaker and a linen napkin, implies a state of perpetual readiness for a quiet tea ceremony or a solitary glass of wine. By carefully composing these still life scenes with a restrained, monastic sensibility, you create a space that feels sacred and prepared, inviting a moment of pause, even when you're just passing through to take out the recycling. So, walk outside, stand at the entrance of that forgotten alley, and see it anew. See the stone table glowing in the dusk, hear the whisper of the grasses, and smell the jasmine on the cooling air. This transformation is not about a massive budget. It's about a massive shift in perception, using the quiet, enduring beauty of natural materials to craft a space where meals become memories, and a simple side passage becomes the soul of your home. Thank you for joining me on this journey from forgotten threshold to a dining nook of profound, meditative beauty. If a particular idea stirred your imagination, let us know in the comments below. Subscribe and click the bell, and together we'll continue to unearth the hidden soulful architecture waiting in the most unexpected places of our lives. Until next time, breathe deep and design with nature.